Good morning. We start with Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga. From the heart of the Savior of 100 deities of Tushita, on a peak of cloud resembling a clam of extremely white fresh curd, King of Dhamma, omniscient Losandrapa, please come here together with your sons. In the sky before me, on a lion throne, lotus and moon, my perfect pure Guru smiles with delight. Supreme field of merit for my mind of faith, please abide for 100 yawns to spread the teachings. Your holy mind has the intelligence that understands the full extent of objects to be known. Your holy speech with its excellent explanations is an ear ornament for those of good fortune. Your holy body is radiantly beautiful with glory renowned. To you who are meaningful to see, hear, and remember, I prostrate. Pleasing drinking water, various flowers, fragrant incenses, flies, scented waters, and so forth. Oceans of cloud-like offerings, both actually arranged and mentally emanated, I offer to you the supreme field of merit. Whatever non-virtue of body, speech, and mind, especially those opposite to the three vows that I have collected from beginningless time, I confess each and every one with fervent regret from my heart. You strove for much learning and practice in this degenerate age, and made your freedoms and richnesses meaningful by abandoning the eight worldly concerns. Savior, we sincerely rejoice in your extensive deeds. Perfect, pure, holy gurus, from the billowing clouds of wisdom and compassion in the sky of Dharmakaya, please let fall a rain of profound and extensive Dharma upon the receptacle of those to be subdued, exactly as they need. May whatever virtue I have collected benefit the teachings and all transmigratory beings, and in particular may it cause the essence of perfect pure Losandrapa's teachings to shine forever. Sajipaki Chujingmeto Tradirablishi Nidegembadi Sangye Jindu Mite Ua Hidrokunamdak Shila Chupasho. By the merits of having offered this mandala to Lama Tsongkhapa and his two sons, may I, my family members, and all sentient beings be able to meet, practice, and actualize the teachings of the victorious one, Losandrapa, who had the morality of eminently pure way of life, was courageous in the extensive conduct of the sons of the victorious ones, and accomplished the yoga of two stages of supreme bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kanniryatayami. By the force of having fervently requested in this way, hollow beams of white light are emitted from the hearts of the perfect pure Father and Sons, and combining into one enter my crown. White nectar, the color of milk, flows from the opening of tube of white light, cleansing all my sicknesses, spirit harms, negative karmas, obscurations, and their imprints without exception. My body becomes as pure and clear as crystal. Now we recite 5-line Miktsema 3 times. Migme tsewe tenchen chen rezi, drime gempe wampo jampelian, dupo malu jonze sawendak, kanchen kepe tsungen tsongkapa, losan drape shabla soade. Migme tsewe tenchen chen rezi, drime gempe wampo jampelian, dupo malu jonze sawendak, Ganchen kepe tsungen tsongkapa, losan drape shabla soade. Migme tsewe tenchen chen rezi, drime gempe wampo jampelian, dupo malu jonze saweda, ganchen kepe tsungen tsongkapa, losan drape shabla soade. And a prayer for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losang father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now, holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings. Through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable, venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge. And for mother living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in a glory for fortunate disciples.
Sangye chodang tsogi chonum la chanchu pardu dani kyabsun chi dagi chushi yebanda dagi drolam benshi sangye drupara shu. Sangye chodang tsogi chonum la chanchu pardu dani kyabsun chi dagi chushi yebanda dagi drolam benshi sangye drupara shu. Sangye chodang tsojin chonum la chancho pardu dami kyabsun dagi chushe yebanda dagi rolam bench sanjin drupara shu. Kangi tuzini zoni tawa tamche pambishir tambichun dunze kodam dela chanze lo. Namo laye kedan lo dono jingi chupon dana mi kedan dano kunji dano chizan patamche kedu dagi chuden to. Good morning, everyone. Shopatele.
Good morning, Geshe. Shopitele.
Sadawani chene. Gentoni retreat yore. Next Monday start your retreat.
Is the retreat starting on Monday?
Next.
Following? The following Monday?
Which day? Okay, out next Monday. Out next Monday.
After. That's it.
9th October. 9th October.
Yes.
Only any dreamy retreat strategy what is?
So
Keranso ngandelen tenso tanda tenso kentonyin chi keranso do chedi ani 겐토니게 단다 지즈드미게 다 retreat. How many days? Five days. Yeah. And the Chigyor is and the Nimanga Chanzan Yamshikche Matunaya. Kaukala Charansun Yamshikche Tuno. Bemaswa Yabuyor is Ra. And Chadangi Jizundramadi Sanji Samjik Chili Chiktunita Tasha Javat Jizundramari is. And Delia saw Tabana. And Sanji Chilinjuk Murgores and Jobun Jugores. Ra. Teni something bena gain Konando Jimbana, again Tony Imbana. One the Tani, Nandelian Logan Rossons. Genly a Junchi and Thomasons. Imagine Nashi, Sambananda, Ani Lama Soverum Chigita, Kagon Shizunk, Chebanamda, Tangone, Galon Namda, sing it. Then Susulamika Nashi, Chin. A drifting it in teaching Jasons, the any Tendidojiki, any Chawakarichi by Nia. Maran someone when Yam
Ursula, in Alec,
La.
Goda. Soranan, Sorana.
Ngan sama delia Yamshuk Chebaina. On someone never chicked Pombaina. Pendo Yoras. Yahuyores.
Ursula. So there will be a Green Tara or a Tara retreat starting from the 9th of October, which is a Monday. And even though Geshe will not be attending the retreat every day, but it will be led by Venerable Todi. Yeah. So Venerable Todi will be leading the retreat for 5 days. Yeah. And even if you're not able to attend all of those 5 days, if you're able to attend some of those days, then that would be very good. Yeah. So, sorry. Queen Tara or Arya Tara is the deity or the embodiment of all the enlightened activities of all the Buddhas. Yeah. And by practicing and relying on Green Tara, then whatever activities that are in accord with the Dhamma, they will be accomplished swiftly. So Geshe himself has been at the Chedresic Institute for about 9 years. And then during that time, Geshe has not observed any fault whatsoever in Venerable Todi's behavior and conduct. He's been very zealous in the practice and the advice that has been given by Lapa Rinpoche. So he's very Geshe feels that Venerable Todi or Gen Todi is a very upstanding and very a good practitioner, especially in relation to being fully ordained or a fully ordained monastic. So if we're able to make effort with this practice in order to attend it and make effort while we're attending the retreat, then it would be very beneficial. It would be very good. Latsula.
Tadiri, Nanzu Geshe do the number Sanji Chu. Number Sanji Chu slung the Chu the Yamlin Chisak Tony some down the Labasum singing the Reshas. Suddenly lava, things in lava, Sherry lava. 디스 라 최 최치기 여바나 더디 냠래 지고야지 라 아니 더디 냠래 지기 여바나 최치기 여바지 디리지 샤샤스 더디 최디 땡야도지 최디 좀 된데마 아니 간줄라야 ngo저 나야기 균진 조로디 단남중의 시대에 들어서 대원 대부터 동문 되고 매완서 동할 세비기 탑다 대원집이 탑 아니 지기여버디 라버송 냠렌티 차그연서 디 디송샤스로 랑기 대원집이 탑야 아니 랑귤라 라버송 줘야 랑기 동할 세비기 탑세나 수수귤라야 아니 라버송 냠렌 체티 디레샤스로
So with our talk, what we'll be discussing is about the Bodhisattva. Yeah. So regularly when we're doing an introduction to the Buddha's teachings, then Geshe discusses in terms of one's practice. Yeah. So that is specifically 3 higher trainings of ethical discipline, concentration, and wisdom. Yeah. Hello. All right. So that practice. No.
No.
No. testing. 1, 2, 3, testing. So
yeah,
testing. Yep. So that practice is in relation to the 3 higher trainings. The 3 higher trainings in ethical discipline, concentration, and wisdom. So if we practice these 3, then that is going to be equaling the practice of the Bodhisattva. So this is where Geshe gives a introduction to the Bodhisattva, since we all want to experience happiness and we want to remove or avoid suffering, then the practice of these 3 higher trainings are actually a method to accomplish that happiness and a method to remove those discomfort and sufferings that we wish to avoid. So if we're able to internally practice and cultivate those 3 higher trainings within our own minds, then this is the best method in order to do that. Lasula.
Tadiri Tinza, the dig Kandasi Dungar Sigioris, Kandas Dungar said to Gres, Layatera, and it Deva Kandas do to Gres, Devati, Tarduk Devati, and it end Devati, Kandas do to Gres, Lavandi, Altam tend to Devati, Yobati, Munzin Chimatuna, and it tend to Devati, Tavi Batia, and it Haku Marawas. Then to Devati, Tavimba Hamakona, Kitchenbuimba Hamakona, that's something Yamnelia, Juktu Maravas, and Benangazu Karim by the Lega Kitchenbuji by na, Lega di Tola and Bezun Chiagi, Semju Legoras. The Kitchenbuimba Montona, di Tola and Bezun Chiada, and it is Tayada, the Yungumaras, Tanchit Tugumaras. Tinzanganzu will have a some day, Kitchenbuimba di. Never to any Hakoko. Then have some kitchen by him, but then the devil be Tavim body any motion go does. Kalakabu the other in the young sound of thunder, lonely low tune, any sound of Tani, Peter, any Mung Kibi on Botozogi, any Shon to Zolaya, daddy, any sound of Tamayana, Geshe Yatama Seminalaya. Did the Geshe Yatama Resha Sambigi, and in Nibanyaji, Yungioris.
So how, by relying on those 3 ethical training or the 3 higher trainings, how do they remove our dissatisfaction, our suffering? How do we accomplish happiness, stable, lasting happiness? How do we do that? By using these higher trainings. So firstly, we need to identify that what the actual method is. Yeah. If we do not understand, we will not develop a appreciation of the method in order for us to accomplish this lasting, stable happiness and to remove this suffering. So if we understand what the method is in order to do that, then we'll be able to see the benefit. And then on that basis, we'll be able to make time to put effort into those methods. Yeah. So by identifying the benefits of these particular methods and also identifying the actual methods, then it might be difficult to begin with. But as we reflect again and again on a year by year basis, then slowly we will develop a deeper level of understanding. And if we rely on text masters, then if we read and reflect on these, then I don't know. It's school holidays, Dila. Yani, kogi tige. Yeah. Any, where did I end up? So we can see the benefit by understanding the methods. They will be able to appreciate them and feel much more motivated to practice them. So if we have the opportunity to study, reflect those great texts written by the great scholars, then on that basis, we'll be able to develop a greater conviction.
당연히 도스 라원디 직진의 캐나줄이야 착부러지 착시그리스 라 깔카보다 콤 마코와도 아니 대임바이네야 아주 직 딱발이야 렐하고 서로지 녀야기 탑시 체대바나 데 가주스게 편도요 하고 뭐 까고는 원디게 비다지 더 리버 딤 som당 것을 지거라서 수지 리버 딤 som당 것을 양양도 som당 것이 내가 딘지 털어야만 계시셔봐나 아니 디 털을 때시 하고 와는 자식이야도 드니페 아니 갈수 없다 편도 자체무지 이용으로 와서
So even though in the beginning it may feel quite overwhelming and complicated, but if the introduction is described in a easier way to listen to comprehend, then using various reasonings and logic, then we're able to come back again and again and think about and reflect on it. So in this way, if we proceed in this way, then it'll be certain that we will gain a sort of wider benefit. That's it.
tendu deva drubi tabres laundi ta tendu deva drubi tabena drubshi ki tendu deva de kares laundi ani dungar yons sebi ki sebati ta dungar gyutan cheba sebi sebati ani tendu deva res dindi lagu wara dungar gyutan cheba sebi ki sebati tendu deva res laundi ta dungar gyutan cheba sebi dungar de kares dungar de kare 디 규카를 했어야 돼. 양 계셔 마시란시래도 왔으라.
So in order to accomplish or attain this method of lasting or stable happiness, then we actually have to understand what is lasting and stable happiness. Yeah. So it is something that is a removal of the cause of suffering or the cause of your dissatisfaction. So it's really necessary to speak about what is dissatisfaction or suffering and what is the cause of that. Yeah. So this is something that we must address. Lazula.
Tirda tad rod tad dunghar di chidang dunghar ngunzi mambu chidang mambu yores ro tinan tad zu ani penanga zu ta dunghar ki dunghar so dunghar jor tanga zu uspi dunghar nyong de ati penango na ya chogo na ya subo na ya chigara ta sema magi ba khabdu la nga zu nyong de ati ani dunghar ki dunghar se adres tan gyurvi dunghar di pena thambo ma nganzo kubja gan de ondi devu roshi do asra teni kama khashi jo ondi teni kub na de chida ti gyurvi dunghar resra subu na de kamba na de pimo na de thambo ma de di lelo roch mune komba jan leon ma denga ma devada ani devu roshi kibu roshi do asra ina di kama khashi jela ya ani kamba na pimo na sama na de tinza and din gyurvi dunghar res ro.
So in order to identify what dissatisfaction or suffering is, there are actually many different categorizations or way of identifying what suffering is. But in a broad or in a very general way, we can categorize suffering as the suffering of suffering, the suffering of change or transformation, and the all-pervasive suffering. So we can easily understand what this suffering of suffering is. Yeah, that's something that when we feel a headache, we feel upset stomach, we experience mental unhappiness, stress, etc. So it's something that we directly experience ourselves. Yes, this is the suffering of suffering. So the second type is the suffering of change or transformation. So for example, when we first sit down on a chair. It's very comfortable, yeah. But then after a few minutes, after a while, we become uncomfortable. Our body starts to ache. We have to move our arm, our leg, our knee, our feet, or so. They begin to ache and feel sore. So at first, we feel very comfortable and at ease. Then after a short time, it transforms or changes into discomfort. Yeah. So when our knees and our feet or something become uncomfortable and sore. So this is the example of the second type, is that suffering of change or transformation. That's all.
The call den yong bares ra anjuta dungar ki dungar gyu dungar nimbo di call den yong bares la the sakji nyewa lembi phumbo se kyaba duji ki dungar sla waras duji ki dungal ten ani chong bares.
So where does this level of suffering, discomfort come from? Yeah. So the first type, the suffering is suffering, and the suffering of change or transformation, where do these two actually come from, or what are they dependent on? So they're dependent on this third type of suffering, the suffering or the all-pervasive suffering is dependent. So the first two are dependent on the third type of suffering, this all-pervasive suffering.
The 다 사지 니월림 풍부 랑안주 풍부디 야 아니 니월림 풍부 세고레스 다디 아니 두지기 동하레샤스 라탄 디 동할 기란신지레샤스 루디 나란술레 예비 루디 동할 기란신지레샤스 아 라 두지기 동함 아니 사지 니월림 풍부디 코란 동할 기란신지 반자 아니 텔레템비 아니 동할기 동할 아니 규 동할 참말로 콜덴 용대지 차거레스로
So based on our physical body, yeah, they're called the contaminated 5 aggregates. So on this basis, then we experience the all-pervasive suffering. So you could say that the body, yes, and all of its aggregates together are in the nature of this all-pervasive suffering. It's in the nature of discomfort or dissatisfaction. So on this basis of the 5 contaminated aggregates, yeah, then the other 2 suffering.
가서
The suffering of substance. This is cause 연결하고
배시
연결하고 연결하고 연결하고
디고 있지 야 다드니 다딩 안주 아니 딱지 채나로 딱지 채바이나 오늘 안주 풍부디 동하기란시 차만지고 란시 임바디 시부레스 다 가르 채바이나로 풍부들이야 가르 채바이나야 아니 디야직 싸우니 요마라와스 안 캔서 다다바도 수부드 다바기야 수부드 찌르 치어르 수부들이야 다 가리는 치어되네 다다바다 디손 삼바직 아니 니마직을 총송해서 나는 총마송스를 롱갑지 마타지라스다 큐니 야구치 총마송스 내가 가야지
if you analyze yourself, then you look at our physical body, for example, of our aggregates, yeah, then you can analyze to see if they're in the nature of dissatisfaction, suffering, and uncomfortable, if we're feeling sort of discomfort. So as we check and analyze, it really becomes very clear that however much we put effort into maintaining this body, we are managing this body and so forth, we never get this sense of satisfaction or a sense of overall, sense of yes, that's it, I'm completely comfortable. So Geshe feels that over his more than 50 years, he's never gotten to the point in his own mind where he thinks, yes, I feel comfortable, I feel satisfied, and that, but he never really got to that level of comfort and satisfaction in all of those years.
당에 롱업 주린라라 sobda suyin chen ramanda chuyin lulo yabu kyin subudelaro kosa
No.
ta kar gogod chenda subudele kyune nimeji tanti yaji yungumdo sra lulo yagri yakse kong cheri cheze subudele ku ani nimata wa thui jamna ani kar chugba inaya ko zawani da ani 풍부들이야 다 지게직 메탁주레샤스 다디 메탁주레샤스로
So over these years, over 50 years or so, Geshe has looked after this body, yeah, very well. He's washed it, he's maintained it, he's applied creams and so on. But he's come to the realization that his body is really never reaches his level of satisfaction. He never finds comfort, or being satisfied with the outcome. So Geshe, even though applying and maintaining his body well, he never finds, and he's convinced that the body itself was never going to be 100%. That's it.
캐라즈들이 중요해요. 근데 샤즈 공체리체즈, 둘로 공체리체즈, 뉴니 아니 중요해요. 팽그드에스.
So I guess would like to ask if you're somebody who buys more and more expensive creams or more and more expensive clothing. So does that give that sense of greater satisfaction, physical or mentally?
그래서 팽그말 가서 코란 수부 코란 동화 그랑신자, 코 자만디고 랑신자, 코란 자만디고 랑신자, 콜라야 가르쳐 봐야냐. 잔디야지 차요 말이죠. 잔디야 차야면 더더라. 먼저 사와였나? 지 장모였나? 지 아니 사단이었나? 만디와 저것도나 만디와 야나 만디와 다 가르치나 만디와디. 수부들에 만디와지 마도 디와지 싸워니는다. 단 메타처럼서.
So really, by applying these testing, yeah. So we understand that by using these products or clothing, for example, they really only amount to very little benefit or no benefit at all, because the body is in the nature of dissatisfaction and suffering. So however much we apply or wear these things, there is really no end to our dissatisfaction and suffering, because we have to experience hot, we have to experience cold, we have to experience hunger and thirst and so on. So there's always going to be a level of discomfort and dissatisfaction. That's all.
시다디 풍부디 참만디고 랑신 인장 간주 더 약부 따지지만 간주 샘구 수치래야 아니 풍부디 간주래야 되버칸 거요 말이스. 풍부디 초직니 풍부들래야 착박게 돼야다. 초직니 되버 마카만지. 간주 재단 거는 상담 와있는 디어레스로 간주 재단 간주 상담 간주 내가 재단 줘라. 대 상담 야고 땅 봐이나. 초직니 간주 수수 샘 나와야 수수 수부디 되버칸 거요 말이스. 수부디 지워 야치거나 야사지 야그레스. 아니 수부디 아니 밀라 수부 치마치자파 땡야디 땡 누구요 말이스. 까부거라서 아니 천 드라마데 쉬야라 소고 둘로 드라마데 소다 드라마데 스니 민 dwi나 드라마도 수수 수부 랑신 카인바디 밀레 땡 누구면도스. 카이스나 견주 통과라다. 내가 간 거요 말아서. 나 초직이야 디제테 슈치니 아니 착박게 돼야 되지. 디제테 슈치 돼. 초직님 내가 간 거 매워지. 다른 상로 거란 디간이야 차지기면 도스로. 수부 거란 아니 참만디와 임발라 디 톨에 상로디야 아니 참만디와지. 다 참만디고 숨작 소리지. 레온디 데닝한줄라 깡가 쇼지 태고라서라. 데다 둥하 삼아 데니 용고요레스.
So since our body is in the nature of dissatisfaction and suffering, whoever has a wish to have the body feel comfortable and satisfied, then it'll be very difficult it's not possible to have this wish fulfilled. So on a physical level, then we might change our clothing, our appearance, we might, different colors and so forth. But and also on the mental level, we're developing a sense of desire and attachment. And because that desire and attachment is not being fulfilled, then this is bringing about our deep level of suffering experience. Yeah, this is what creates our problems. So on the one hand, we're changing our physical appearances. We're hoping to gain some contentness or satisfaction. And on a mental level, how desires and attachment are increasing and not being satiated in any way. So from both of these perspectives, this brings a lot of suffering experiences and problems. So on this basis, we experience this mental suffering. 맞습니다.
자, 수수기 수부디 수수 내가 천상지 간게 여봐나 수수 수부디 있다 아니 수수래야 내가 간 수수원이 작업기와 나신게 약부지 통고 여봐나 아니 민들래야 땡래야 아니 까고 말와스 하고서
고마 성건
고마서
양경 순환항
수부디 수수 대박한 거 여봐나 나 수부 약부에 상바이나 수부디 다가나 밀래 땡래야 와서 지금 말와스 수수 수부디 수수 대박한 마칸디 안 델래 sob다 스니 민들은 로직케도 왔어 로고라 간진 돌드는 게 가리려고 했으나 간주 샘래야 아니 수부디 수수래야 대박한 게 말이었어 수수 샘기 랭기래야 샘게다 로 란신 랭기래야 나란수 수부디 간주 대박한 게 말이었어 로 이내야 샘그 초직니 델래야 착바지지 안 간줄래야다 레가다 마순나 퇴베 마무 착비 왕기다 소주고라서 안 간줄 제와사우 슈 소자디 아니 대차 왕기래도 왔어 대차기 왕기 안 간줄 제와사우스 아니 제와사우 차원디 아니 샘그 토니베 무일 네수 가리임바 토래야 삼로 땅에 뒤져 말아와시 아니 당간주 두스 로 아니 동안 mendesin 동안용 로데지 디차고 어라서
So if we're able to actually gain a sense of satisfaction and feel comfortable with our physical body, then we wouldn't feel like we need to be embarrassed or need to be changing anything when we're in a group of people, amongst a group of people, for example. But since we're always striving to make improvements and changes to hide certain perceived flaws that we think we have, think we possess, then really there is no end, to this striving and wishing for improvement, physical, changes based on our body. But our body is really naturally existing in this situation, a feeling of dissatisfaction and discomfort. But due to our desire and attachments, then we're really always questioning what can we do more and more to change it, to hold on to its appearance. And that doesn't leave us any time in order for us to think about what is the nature of reality. How do we exist? So we're left in this wishing and desires, and that that forces us to just remain in that suffering, dissatisfied experience. That's all.
There's a 간지 아니 간주 통마 마 끼온디니 친으로 아메 코반데 마 끼온디니 베 아니 무니 이렇게 잡니 끼인 거라서 슬라치로 깨 잡니 끼인 거라서 다 끼에서 제라야 아니 베 가서다 간지 깡아짱짱 로지래도 생각 무슨 나로야 참아지 깡아짱짱 로지 아니 다야 첨부차와이나야 야 참아지와 아니 게도디야 참아지와 먼저 게야긴 되버 메신도 게도 거라서 수보비 아니 다 간지 소소라 강 여버티 대린 강 여버티 다가란 데나 삼삼로 지어디네 싸우니 마데 균로에 규위랑 신치 차지네 먼저 샘나라 가드나 동아지 떼고라서 풍부 디톤 땅안줄에 동아 떼샤버디다 아니 균이 세메바도지 렌도스로
So firstly, or in the beginning, from birth, we're experiencing some dissatisfaction or because so testing. Yeah. Hello. That's so as soon as we are born, straight for the time of our birth, we come out and we are crying. We're yelling and going, we're crying. And afterwards, once we're growing up a little bit, then we actually experience a lot of difficulties and problems, especially when our wishes or our hopes are actually not met and not and then we experience mental discomfort on that basis. So as we grow up, our wishes are actually being contradicted by our experiences. So this is an endless source of mental unhappiness and discomfort. So we have a sense that we want our day and the next day and into the future on a daily basis to remain exactly the same as the current day, the present day. But because it's all in the nature of change and transformation, then each day is going to be undergoing change. But we have a sense that we want to keep everything stable. So you can see that there is really limitless ways that we experience suffering and dissatisfaction.
때들이 간지 깨가 난치기 동하기 규마체바 윤거레스 tinza tan dushig dungar ro dushig kewala ya rawa yo mari ani nebala ya rawa yo mari ani gengo chaila rawa yo mari ani shewala ya ngansula rawa mendo asro ta rawa meba di tagara nganzu dungar yimbachi sortu baina tagara dungar yimbachi pe 가서 다 샘딩 네바니바 아니 소식 첨보지 레트 바이나 다 디 라마 메바디 라만도 수 초버레스 라만 총에 수리세디 지와디 제중 이버도 치그레스 로
So the experience of birth, aging, sickness, and death, they're all natural experiences, but we do not have any freedom or control over any of these. We don't have any freedom over when we were born, our aging. We don't have any freedom or control over becoming sick. And of course, without no freedom or control over our time of death or death in general. So if we're able to generate a feeling that this nature of birth, aging, sickness, and death is something in the nature of suffering and dissatisfaction. So then if we reflect on that, we can develop a deep-seated level of conviction, that this is in the nature of suffering. And that leads us to the question, who has gained freedom or control over these birth, aging, sickness, and death? So we're able to come to a conclusion and conviction, and then we can ask, who has achieved that? Let's sort out.
There's the Chitanda Soroyo, the test there in a Shukchambo sort to be your marasra. Nala Ramanj go to Samson Roch. Pen a Benjo Chembuji Chawana, Ramanji on Sare Samson, Suzu Karden the Church of Sare Samson Roch. And so some of the Yongoras, Teletani, and a Benjo to be a Sova, Tachi, and a Tutsu Manchi di Pig Teltani, Nans Benjo to Yorasra, Imbainaya, Benjur Gi. Nganzu Kevalaya, Raman Yotu Yamare, Nevalaya, Raman Yotu Mare, and Shivala, Gevalaya, Raman, Savan in Yotu Marata, Nyotu Yavana, Zambali Nangi, Penjo Chejuto, Nyot Sario Gordina, Konzama Nanzanashi Chin, Rame Tony, and Rogo Dasra, Rogote, Raman Yotu Mar, Ketzi the Raman di Gogu Yavana, and Suzu Sam Dawayati. 데리마도 셴바 탑시에요 말했어. 수치기니에요 말했어. 잠을리 나오더라.
So, in general, we do have a sense that we want to have freedom and control over these processes, but that feeling is not very strong. We might think, yes, I want to gain that, but that sense of conviction is not very strong. So we do understand the concept that by gaining material riches, material wealth and resources, that we gain a sense of freedom and control due to that. So if we're able to accumulate a lot of material wealth and resources, then, and we actually devote a lot of time for that purpose in order to gain that level of control and independence. But this level of material wealth and resources is not something that has the ability to give us that mental peace and happiness and ultimate or the control and freedom that we are talking about. So if you're somebody that you wishes to gain that level of freedom and control, then looking and taking care of one's own mind there's no other method better than that. Let's do that.
아니 개긴기 칼럽 틴디짱짱 송거라서라 틴디짱짱 송데 따디 사리 삼네 담메세 답 데부지케네 약사리 삼체니 아니 타와스 로 타와스니 에 골프메와스 타우리스 타우리스에서 내가 빼 인용 차거레스 로아 저스 잘라 템비 내가 빼 마무 용거스 먼저 잘 템비 내가 지에요 말레스 아니 둘로 디코 피기 차진 그냥 둘로 찍고 녜제인자 코니마타고 지오자스키요 말와스 지오자니야 콜레 겐센스키요 말와스라 ngai theri dikhai danga sanyi dikhai ba na medus chale jagre samson tindi samlo kono na yungu yo mares te chidi dulo dia chik tik de yo ani du chidi tel dem bi lega pe mamu nyonyon charo gorasra 된다 거기대
거기도
아니 믹스기 소소라야지 로바로치 요마라스 아 사산로치 메디 삼발라 아니 카원드로나 아 미질레야 슈스틴데 고마라스 아니 칼라사와이나 수수 간데바 사야마도지 아 피글레 케제티 데번티만데 아니 다수수 녀바이나야 수수 녀데기 간에 수수 라완친 수수 쿠시친 아니 니쿠야 여러 아 딘디 토네 아니 자위기 수보디 동화가란시제데이냐 간지 고 제단지 토네 간라 간zam게 답데보다 아니 기부치네 로야기 람가시 요요로저레스로
So Geshe would like to take himself as the example here. So Geshe, from a very young age, he became a monk, and during that time, he relied on many teachers and their advice. Yeah. So, and Geshe, by listening to their advice, he would think, oh, yes, then that's quite likely how it is, what it is, and so forth. So then, by becoming a monk, he felt that lenient, yeah, especially in terms of cognitive. Hello, 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 hello,
hello
hello. Cognitive. So Geshe, he felt that by being a monk and listening to the advices of his teachers, that the lifestyle was much more convenient and low maintenance. For example, when Geshe shaved his head. So this hairstyle is very low maintenance and easy to look after, yeah. So whereas Geshe understands that people with more hair, longer hair, and so forth, there's a lot of work involved, yeah. And likewise, Geshe wearing the monk robes, monastic robes, there's no decision making in order what he's going to be wearing that day and so forth. He just wears the same thing and changes after every couple of days or so. So Geshe feels that this lifestyle is a very convenient and low maintenance, yeah, as taking a lifestyle that could be a lot of work, yeah, or a way of life is a lot of work, but making by choosing this lifestyle is making the work a lot less, yeah. And also Geshe has chosen not to have a family. So by having a family, it is difficult to accept invitations. So when Geshe is invited to one place or another, he has the freedom in order to attend these and honor their invitations. So likewise with food, making dinners and meals and food, he can eat what he thinks is good. And also in terms of sleeping, he's able to gain a very decent, good night's sleep and so forth. So even though Geshe feels that, yes, the nature of the body is suffering and dissatisfaction, but as much as one is able to, yeah, he's making that a little bit more convenient and comfortable. That's
대디리 로 대디인자 간진 간주 풍부디 두직 자왕베비 로 자왕베비기 둥하르진 바티 자왕 촉디야와치 로 di sungor the this su toba res laundi ani phumbu di pigita Geshe ki jujoras ra phumbu di khal teni chongba res laundi zawi ki ani phami khuda ki thubi yoba ina ya di ki chagen la ya di rogba la ya gyabjong la ya ani ditsu nganzu mi subu soje jora di zu di chagdang monsum segindire shas ra di song da chagdang monsum ani mongba marik bala tene ani pigila ya decha ki ani odinji ki wangi zu marik ba tedang ani decha ni ki la tene ani nganzu ki ani lud tuyores lud tsawa di ani nyumula tuk dewachi ani lud rawan ro di ani nyumu chok dewachi this song do asra
So our body, if it is a phenomena or an object that is composed
gas
and has cause and effect, let's 거기 좋아. Yep. He's still hippie.
taku ya
Yep. Yeah. So on that basis, we experience this lack of freedom or control. Yeah, we experience a sense of suffering. So now we can ask, what is the main causation of this situation? So we understand that the cause is mainly from our mother and father, as our physical body is being established or created by our mother and father coming together. So whereas we can think of that as a cause or a condition, but if we think specifically, the main or the let's say the main is fine. So the main cause or the main cause is that of our attachment, hatred, and ignorance. Yeah. So we can say that based on this ignorance or attached confusion, you could say is another translation, then we develop attachment and desire. And on the basis of this, then our body is established, our physical body. So you can say that the main root cause, if you will, is the afflictive emotions. So even though the main physical causes is of the mother and father coming together, but the main root cause is our afflicted confusion or ignorance. That's her.
Tirida Geshe nganzugi ludi tushigi ju da phami khoda re de ne ya thi gyablo la ya ra thi gyablo la ya nganzu mi thoya mebi gi gyujin chi yobada da ani peshi seri watusuga soba chetugoras chigoras ra pegi daji ani phami khoda kye meba chi zoma samgi nganzu mir chabi ngiba kyni yomarawas 라 네버키노 다 딱지 심죽 지원디 아니 간지 민이진 차발이야 아니 디갸블로게 아니 데차 생긴기 샘드 메나 만주 류디 자원인의 조기여서 말이스 딘자 류디 데차라 땐데바 데차세디 마리발라 땐데바치 딘자 간지 간주 류 비다지 Rawan Tsao Nini Mebi Lundi and the Tuksa Zodi Numula took the watch. Or di chani and Gansu Lud Tamanti was Chavares. Good again at the Tamanti only gave us grace. The Dean the Dindig Tamandi will lose the any Torbala, any Tad Digby lose Lambalaya, Tamandi will lose Langy Gu, and in Anzu Samla Yubegi, Chagdan Yumusing di Bango dos, Chagdan Yumudi Mavasogo dos. That this Sojig Tablaya, Tanjing Anzu Kon Thomas Shebigi, Labasum second, Labasum, Tian Semgi. Samlo tansho jirata labasum sadi semg samlo tansho ti tone semg samlo tansho pigi shemba ani nyumu grigdi meba sogo dos dadi kanji namasanji wichu rodanchi tini chagdo asra.
So even though the main cause of our physical body is the parents coming together, but you can think of it as the assisting cause that is behind that, is the afflicted emotions, and specifically this confused ignorance. So even if scientists or psychologists, they were able to study and reflect, they would most likely come to the same conclusion that based on one's
Gas.
desire or attachment generated by ignorance or confusion, testing. Hello. Yeah. So based on our desire that is being generated by our confused ignorance, then we develop those afflictive emotions. So this is what is the main cause for developing our bodies, and having our bodies in this nature of continuous dissatisfaction. So this cause of those aggregates, of those 5 aggregates, this cause that it needs to be removed. It needs to be reduced, it needs to be removed. So Geshe mentioned earlier in our discussion the method in order to do that. He referred to the 3 higher trainings. So this is a method that removes the cause of those afflictive emotions, and in particular, that the confused ignorance. So we need to think and reflect about how to remove those afflictive or destructive emotions. So this is what Buddhism is discussing.
Terda labasum tone nyumu singiti meba sogores laundi ta nyumu meba soy yorwe set theodile gores ro nyumu penan decha meba sotugres soya yorwes se theodile goras ani dille ondi ta yores decha di meba soya yore kansana decha lodi lo shinju lo chireshas lo shinju lo di ani yulya decha kanlan juksak yul delya ani shinju lo tagudos shinju lo tagudusna ngoyo nesuda menton bachi pigi yul digi ngoyo kaimba tenan shin tamutungi teli tseli geba tadingi lo chireshas dinza ani yul delya yul korang nilu kaimba 세단 덴바 또비 로직 여바나 아니 셀리 기와다비 로디 란싱기 예로 그레스 딘자 아니 되샤 도야게 탑 두스 닐루 또비 셰르고 또니 되샤 도야 두스
라겐라 아니 디 란칭기 예 저기도 예 라타
건다
디 란칭기 예 저기도 송스가 예 라타
예라는 매바 차도 두스 이알도 두스
that's So when we're thinking of the 3 higher trainings, this is a method to remove those afflictive emotions. But we have to question, is it actually possible to remove those afflictive emotions? Is it possible to remove attachment or desire? Yeah. So we question, is it actually possible? So the answer is yes, it is possible. And the reason that it is possible is because those afflictive emotions are actually a mind that are mistaken. They are, in terms of their apprehending their object, they are mistaken. They are not in regard with the reality or the way that the object actually exists. Yeah. So once one is able to correctly comprehend the way that the objects exist, yeah, then that will be able to remove that associated afflictive emotion. That's all.
그래도 되차 신주로인 바디 되차 신주로인 바디 되차 그 무일 니출이야 때금에 바디 내가 좀 용아래야 수수 냠용저라 냠용라 바자는 상당와이나 아니 되차기 따단디 지금에 바디 통투여서레스 라 완전 되차 통마 계사기 율디
라 거기면도
라
거기면 코마성
야 nganzu nyamnyong thone samdangwaina desha de shinju loyin ba di to tugu yores ra nganzu dus pena desha thoma gesagi thoma gibi kap ku yul del ya samlos tangwaina pigi gi yul de pe ninje wochi ye dongwanchi ta di ngal chi thomna da ta temada ki gosamare samde dindi nganzu la chora legu yoras ta din bezun cheni di nga desha keja yuldi sosulo 토본디 sambal라 다 디니 아니 니마치 니루도 드론디게 아니 힘만 통한 난신치 율코란 다가란 요나야 님은 통한 난신치 매버지 차기도스 자자자다면 차고라서 당님 나한테 간다라지 투기나 삼선을 까고 디 소원이 연구여라서 다디 가르된 거여라서 방다로디 계란 되샤가 따단디 따단 노르교지기 돈 따여바디 아니 방다 들리 되는 거래서 라 들릴 때니 되샤디 아니 로신줄로인 바디 줍초그레스
So according to our own experience, we can gain an understanding about why is desire, attachment, something that is mistaken. Yeah. We can see, according to our own experiences, that desire, like afflictive emotions, but in this case, desire is actually a mistaken mind. Yeah. So, for example, in the beginning, we see an object. And we generate a strong sense of appreciation. We see that it's very beautiful. We see all pleasant qualities, and we feel that we need to obtain this particular object. And we make a lot of effort. We put a lot of hard work in that if I don't have any other object other than this one, then that'd be okay. So we finally get that object and we're very happy. But then after 1 day or 2 days, then that feeling of happiness, even though the object itself hasn't changed, but the beauty of the object that we first saw is getting less and less. It is wearing off, so to speak. Yeah. So this is, we can see this for ourselves, and we develop a sense of less, draw or appeal to that particular object. We can see this through our own experience. So just by understanding this situation, we can develop a level of understanding that desire or attachment is the one that is mistaken in terms of its object, yeah? In terms of perceiving its objects. So on this basis, we're able to understand that desire or attachment is something that is mistaken, a mistaken view. Let's look.
만주다 냠뇽 토네 보쇼그레스 디지디다 유 닐루 통과야디 개침부자 유 닐루레야 따단 노래야디 가르스나 마리비 겐치완자 닐루라 몽바 인자 닐루라 미시비 왕기 닐루라 따단 노르비기 론도샤드 레기요라스라 다 닐루라 몽비 왕기 인반자 마리바세티 마리비 싸와체샤스 다 마리바디 닐루라 몽비 로진자 다 닐루 토고군도세티 Yulg niluk togo dos. Yulg niluk togo dile sherabs lagores. Dinza sherab de kitchen bu shuch. Segoyadi. Ani yulg niluk tobi lo kombala teni. Yulg nilule shinju lo de shubi. Lo sebi seba yobati. Lo sebi seba yobati. Dili druguyores ra.
Gaso.
Gazo.
Yangi suluran tamay yangi suluran.
찬자이.
나 찾아봐래. 셔럽 에리 닐루 토페치라.
셔럽디 유기 닐루 토비 로 차고레스. 유기 닐루 토비 로 콤발 때니 유기 닐루라 몽비기 로디 세비 세바요바 드루투고레스. 딘자 닐루라 몽비 마리바 세비 세바요나 데차 세비 세바요. 아니 마리바든 데차 세비 세바요나 텔레 때니 트리비기 아니 비게 동하기 폼부시비 세바여봐. 디여나 아니 동하기 폼부 교단 치바 세비 세바싱인디 디 아니 타르바싱인디 디여버 드루투고레스. 다디 드루지기 탑딜이야 아니 람라바숨 싱드레스. 다 두스체네. 로 산지 위치 로당로디 베 아니 가서다 띵 코라는 섬다는 딘리직 돈은 조고레스.
So by establishing that the mind itself of desire attachment, for example, is mistaken, yeah, then it is also mistaken in relation to how it interacts with its object, in particular, the nature or the way of existing of that object. So we can, if we're thinking deeper, we can see through our own experiences. Yeah. So what is creating or causing this mistakenness is due to this confusion or ignorance. So confusion in relation to the nature of the object or the nature or the way that it abides. Yeah, its very nature. So on the basis of us, so we need to realize the nature, the true nature of this object. Yeah. So that when we realize the true nature of an object, that is what we refer to as a wisdom mind or wisdom. Yeah. So depending on this wisdom mind that sees the true nature of reality correctly, then that naturally removes the confused or the ignorant mind. Yeah. So on that basis, once the confused or ignorant mind is removed, then the desire or attachment is removed, and then the causes for our aggregates are being removed. And then one is able to experience nirvana or liberation. Yeah. So the method in order to attain that is this practice of the 3 higher trainings. Yeah? So this is what the Buddha taught. Is a very, once we think about it and start reflecting about it, it's very deep and profound. That's all.
Tirda tinza nelu tobi sharabdi nelu tobi sharab kechimbu chadires nelu la mumbi maribase nan dechase na deletembi gita ani chagdan la sobada dungar pumbu chembo yons soba sedroganza di tarduba di nelu tobi sharab deres nelu tobi sharab yonya la ya nelu singi di kechimbu chagora tinza nanzo 똥바니 시슈 시에데디 가드는 똥바니디 개침부 슈츠데 고야 균센디 똥바니 세온디 네루 카임바디 최남기 네루 카임바디 시고라스 로 딘자 카징 안주 저질이야 남들 고슴 시데디 간지 남들 고슴 시데디 아니 똥바니 비 아니 똥바니 자르사기 시 또지기 차니 로 아니 덴바 마트비기 아니 차망부지 비찬니 쪼도 수때니 아니 넘버 3 코스 라 뉴몬바당 비기타 마리바당 되찰로 소발레 넘버 3발라야 아니 고디오레스 라 차나 고디니 주바나 아니 마리베 아니 넘버 3 그래 아니 되차기 넘버 3 그래 둥하기 넘버 3 그래세 간지 쪼디 아니 똥바니테레스
Tamani yangi surudak. Taba.
나
The go zubi jala. Any yangi surudak. Go.
고
Go zubi jala. Any dopidi any di karachare di kyachipure.
그래서 아니 똥바니 원쳐봐이나 아니 뉴문레 넘버 3 그래서 뉴문레 타도 그래서 뉴문 빵도 그래서 딜라는 지고 있지
That's it. So when we think about wisdom, yeah, the wisdom that realizes the true nature of reality, this removes the confused or the ignorant mind. So on that basis, one is able to therefore remove desire, attachment, and on that basis, we're able to remove the body, yeah, or the aggregates, yeah. So by utilizing this wisdom mind that realizes the true nature of reality, then what is the true nature of reality? And when we speak of the true nature of reality, then we lead into a discussion about emptiness. And this is why emptiness becomes very important. Yeah. So previously we discussed a question about the 3 doors to liberation. Yeah. So at this time, when we're discussing about the 3 doors to liberation, a discussion about emptiness is going to be talked about or presented, yeah? In particular, the 4 different types of emptinesses. So mainly, if we are realizing the true nature of reality and understanding the way that reality actually exists, empty by nature, then we're able to remove those afflictive emotions such as anger, attachment, ignorance, and so on. So you can see that by practicing in this way, then we can enter through the doors of liberation by relying on this wisdom and understanding this presentation on ignorance. So by removing the confused or the ignorant mind, then we are removing those afflictive emotions and abandoning those afflictive emotions completely and gaining liberation. So this is what is referred to when we're speaking of the 3 doors to liberation. So when we understand this presentation on emptiness, then we're able to remove and abandon all those afflictive emotions. That's all.
당시에 좋았어.
That's a
한번 좋았어.
Geshe's thoughts have dried up. Finished.
Sorry. Do you have some questions or not?
Is there any questions?
Yeah.
When I was a little girl, or this mind continuum was a little girl, like a primary school student, I didn't have a sense that my body was my enemy. It was a vehicle of joy and happiness and bouncing out and jumping around, and didn't really have that sense that the body was maybe an enemy or something until after sort of childhood, maybe moving into adolescence and things. But as a child, it didn't feel like that.
So is there a question or just a statement there?
Yeah, I just so I'm making that statement in relation to what Geshe was saying before about how the body always seems like we're dissatisfied. I just guess it's a statement saying I didn't feel that when I was in primary school. I didn't feel like I was dissatisfied with my body.
Yeah. So Geshe,
Yeah.
Muigi logic school gilda chotu sapla. Hello. Hello. 거기 돼.
Yeah, 거기도.
Yeah. 뭐 lotion cup to sapla. Mui lobte chotu sapla. Muigi super cola. Any dewa ranching. Dewa. Kipo ranching. 소와 랩기래. 라 얘네 무에기로 겜파 차피치라 얘네 디콜라티스 삼노타예레 수포 this 두네오 디 this 영 시기레스 에레 얘네 무에기로 춘춘 갑두 얘네 무에기 수포 란칭 기포 라 얘네 소바 랩스 홍사 얘네 디 갑라 에리 티와 민토 무에기 수수 냠용 애니 디 라비아기 되파 총성.
저는 저희 연락도 왔어요.
Yeah, yes. And she said, "Ngala tiwa mesa." And ngade labiagi depe 총성사.
Thank you.
Final Lamin dedication. From my 2 types of merits vasa space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a grand land of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose mind's wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all life's Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings, with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold the Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion, in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread or once spread have declined. May I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted boundless peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time. By even this graded path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their sons. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtues practices, may he always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. Thank you.